Hiya folks, Magiq here, and today we're looking at Lined Pockets Crime. With the new 10.4 update we got a bunch of new cards, and I'm going to be playing around with a couple of them here. So new cards in the deck are Ring of Favour, Provision Changed Morale, Conjurer's Candle, and Effect Change on Bare Knuckle Brawler, and Shady Vendor with the rework on Eventide Plunder. So if we go from top to bottom, we'll just have a look through the deck. We've got Tiger's Eye as the stratagem. I think having the 5 coins is far more versatile than any other sort of stratagem that you'd find in a Syndicate deck for most applications. However, there are some times where it changes. You know, you might find a Magic Lamp or a Cursed Scroll, maybe a tactical advantage, but personally I stick with the Tiger's Eye for most of my builds. So going from the top, we've got a Neuromancy, and this is just like the ultimate tutor, I guess. In such a specific deck as this, it's really nice to be able to find any card we want whenever we want it. And the Echo on it allows us to use it across multiple rounds. Normally, at least when I play Crime, I like to try and push in 2 rounds anyway, see if I can cut the game short. So next up, we've got sort of our first package of cards, I'd say. So the Cleaver is sort of the first round. I divide this deck into 2 rounds almost, packages you play within them, and when I'm up against a deck, I'll assess whether I need damage in the first round, or I need boost in the first round and damage for a later round. So, for example, when I go into an Elves deck, I'll keep a little bit of removal, but I want to be able to push points in that first round, so I'll keep a hold of a Cleaver. I might keep a hold of a Townsfolk. Perhaps I will have my Novigradian Justice or my Furko the Sculptor to grab Novigradian Justice to get Bare Knuckle Brawlers out, and maybe even an Eventide Plunder to find that spender for our coins. And that's a really nice little package to run. However, the other one that I run is Tunnel Drill and Horson's Freak Show. These are 2 spenders that can damage, and Tunnel Drill is especially effective because it goes up to 3 when a crime is played. And we've got a lot of crimes in the deck, with the Fist Tech, the Eventide, the Shady Vendor creating crimes, the Payday, the Furko pulls crimes out of the deck, the Novigradian Justice, Cleaver creates a crime. Another good crime payoff card is Harold Gord. Harold Gord boosts up to a threshold of 12, so that's a really, really nice point slam. I find that when I normally like to play Harold, it will be when I push round 2 on a bleed and I want a short round point slam off the Harold. Perhaps I can draw into it or find it on the Echo of a Neuromancy. Additionally, for consistency, there's Vivaldi Bank. And a nice insurance policy for round 1 is Ring of Favour. As long as you can gauge when your opponent's going to pass, you can get like 10 to 14 points out of this card. And for 8 provisions, I think that's really, really strong. And even if they do pass, you can draw a card. So it's just a really versatile piece for the first round. I've considered the bounty package at first, but I eventually settled on poison because a lot of those bigger targets are much better for the poison cards. So I've got Morale, I've got Fist Tech, and I've got Fist Tech Trafficker, which is a total of 6 poisons or 3 kills throughout the entire deck, dotted around. And I find that this is really, really good for matchups like Vi, matchups like Sigvold, when you go into the Priestess as well. All of those tall units that would be a little bit expensive to gun down yourself, you can instead use the poison to work with. Last but not least, just looking into a couple of tech pieces or anti-tech pieces, the Conjurer's Candle can be used to protect our engines. So the fee on this will boost units, and because it's an artifact, we can play it with relative safety, and the opponent won't get rid of it before we can get our engines down that we're going to be protecting with it. And then Kurt is able to purify perhaps locks off of engines or place bounties on enemy units in order to get coins when we need them. So this is really nice if I'm up against a monster's deck and they've got some big tall bodies and I can put a bounty on one of their units, gun it down, and then get the coins right back for it with my tunnel drill. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the games. Okay, opponent playing Vi. This should be a relatively simple matchup, right? As long as we keep poisons for the big cards. So I guess if I just go removal round 1 with the tunnel drill and the Horson's Freak Show, make sure that they can't get there via super big, they'll have to like grapple for control in the other rounds. So here I can just probably take Fistek out of my hand. I can definitely take Fistek Traffic out of my hand. That is extremely unfortunate. And I'll bin. I guess I'll bin Tunnel Drill maybe, because I don't want to use it right now. I think Freak Show's fine for the first round. But if I just open up with perhaps the Bare Knuckle Brawler, that doesn't reveal too much about my game plan. And I can always throw coins into it, depending on what they play. So if they open up with like a Haunt into a Desert Banshee, it can die to my Tiger's Eye. Or a Barbagazi, I can get the lined pockets. So I guess I just throw Townsfolk down and take out that Consume unit. Very nice. Is there ever the scenario where I just hit it again? Like, there's no harm in that. There's a very big possibility that they just concede if I do that, but I think it'd be pretty funny if I could actually get some decent value. The Naturalist gives me decent coins.
My, this may get its own footnote.
Yeah, this is probably like the dumbest play I've ever made, but I think it's pretty hilarious to keep them out of the game like that. Like, Vita without Consume is kind of not very good, so it should be cool. Oh my god, they're hard casting it. That's unfortunate. I don't really want to play much more into this round, actually. I think I might have actually messed up. Do I ever just play Horson's Freak Show for the points and to present the threat? And then worst case scenario, I just play Ring next turn, otherwise they pass and I draw more. If I can get through the stack a little bit, perhaps I get a Neuromancy round 2. Yeah, Ring goes and I find Justice. That's quite nice. I might just push round 2. I've got Morale and potentially a second Poison in hand. Cleaver plus Novigradian Justice is pretty insane. If I find a Furco, that's like a complete set. There you go, that finishes my Poison package. We definitely don't want the Brawler, because that's what we get off the Justice. Karafi Heatwave here is really nice. I think that here I get rid of Conjurer's Candle or Shady Vendor, because neither of them do all that much for me. Yeah, I don't think I need an additional spender. I'd like to keep Cut to unlock my Cleaver. Wait, why would they lock it? That's not really necessary. A Neuromancy's super nice here. So I guess I open up with Cleaver, and then I follow through with Novigradian Justice. Either that... No, I think that is the play. Still keeping an effort to just keep my rows spread out. I don't think it matters for this matchup, but like even with the Cleaver's muscle spawning on the front row, it's good to keep that division. I think they might concede now.
Next time it'll be personal.
No? Wow. Okay, there it is. GG. I was unfortunate that I had that heat wave for them, but that's just how it is sometimes. Ah, okay, so we're into dwarves.
Shark out of water's still got its teeth.
Okay, so looking at this starting hand, Ring of Favour is always there, and that's really nice against dwarves to secure that round 1. We've got a decent few crimes, but no payoff for it, so I might mulligan Gord and try and find something to actually reward us for playing all these crimes. Townsfolk is good in the round, potentially to give us a boost per coin. However, I think I can get rid of one of the Fisttechs here because we already have a full set of poison from the Fisttech Trafficker and the Fisttech. A Neuromancy is a really nice find here, so I think I might drop my Bare Knuckle Brawler, or... yeah, I think Bare Knuckle Brawler goes... ah, we got it back. So potentially starting out with a Brawler and opening with a Cleaver round 1. I want to try and get the points down in the first round because I doubt that they'll play Bruverhoog into the first round of the game. So I'll start with the Bare Knuckle,
The simplest methods yield the best.
and then I'll use a Nero to grab Cleaver from deck. Okay, so Dwarven Chariot, this is a pretty typical opener from what I've gathered. These Rowdy Dwarves can be scary with Monroe when it turns them into Dwarven Berserkers, so I've got to keep that in mind. However, I don't think I need to worry about that quite yet, so I'm going to grab my Cleaver now. Get some boost with the shakedown that it spawns. And now we have Intimidate free from the adjacent units, so all of these crimes that we've got in hand are a lot better now. Ah, they're going straight for it. Alright, so I guess here I can use Tiger's Eye and make sure that they don't get that last charge. Finishing off with the Payday. Ring of Favour boosting 2 times each turn, or increasing by 2 each turn, until my opponent passes, so I just need to keep an eye on how they're playing and seeing if they're going to pass so I can make sure to get the value out of this ring. This is quite good to get the shield units out. See, that's strange. They damage a random unit, but like a lot of the time they do seem to like converge on a single unit, which is, it's obviously not the case. Like that would be crazy to sort of like think, but it does seem that way. I guess I'm gonna throw a Fisttech on the one with the most armor and get 2 of those shield units down to try and absorb some of the damage. Okay, we managed to absorb 2 that turn, so that's pretty good. I'll just finish the poison on that to prevent extra damage, and then probably play Ring and pass. I doubt that they'll pass right this second. Still on 6 cards. There's the Giant Slayer.
We're gonna need a better boat.
Okay, what have they marked? Cleaver's Muscle? I don't like that it doesn't specify which one. I can assume it's that one, but I guess I just put that down on there and pass. I should have kept an eye on what it hit in case it was one of these others, but I'm doubtful. They'd need to really commit now in order to get the win in this round. With a 21-point lead, we're looking pretty good at the moment. Yeah, that's round 1 secure. Very nice. I think Ring is actually one of the best cards that they've brought out in this expansion. It's just so good for winning that first round. Most of the time you play it for like, you know, between 12 and 16 points, and it's absolutely absurd the value you get out of it. I think I do prefer it on red coin, but it's still fine on blue. Furco's good for getting what's it called, Novigradian Justice, because it triggers the clause for having a Crown Splitter on board. It might be worth getting rid of the Eventide Plunder. And definitely getting rid of the Fist Tech. Okay. So, I guess the options here are either to pass into a long round 3, which I'm not such a fan of, but I can do, or play out round 2. But I think it's better to bleed Dwarves here. So I'm going to open out with Townsfolk.
Do you have a loyalty discount by chance?
And see what kind of value I can get out of them. Hopefully I can boost them up to around the 15 mark. There is the chance that they run muzzle, so I do want to get Candle down first. Although this is good, because if we win now, or in round 2, then they're not getting the additional resilience value off Gabor. And also, it's not a huge point play for this round. I'm just going to open with the Tunnel Drill now and get my Crime in play so that I can get some coins and some damage and potentially gun down their board a bit.
Would you rather I crush your head or rip it clean off?
Okay, that's a little bit scarier, but that's 10, so I can ping it down. Although I think I prefer to poison it here.
My reason to travel, I mean.
Now, a mistake I often make with Morale is playing it in the back row. It is very important to make sure you get that melee order. I have made that mistake far too many a time. Okay, so I don't think this is my big spending round, but it's definitely a big point slam, so it might be worth doing anyway. So I'll bring Furco out, and I'll grab Justice, the Brawler. And then we'll start chipping into that board of theirs. Get one more in. There you go. I do still have a Neuromancy to grab, for example, a Fist Deck for the coins, or throw a Payday on that weaker unit to profit free. Although God is now playing for 9, so it is also a possibility there. I think that's our Heatwave target, although Bruiser is still a possible card. I might just not risk it and get my Payday down. I do want to keep God for final round, I've decided. If they play Bruiser, I'm definitely heatwaving that, but if they don't, then I can quite safely put it on the Berserker. That's on me for leaving them all in the same row. Maybe I should have spaced myself out a bit more. Anyway, that's denied Bruiser value because there's no armor on the dwarf. However, Barkley... I guess I've denied Barkley value too. But yeah, that was definitely a good round 2 push. GG. Alright, Imposter. So this is probably going to be a Vilgefortz Practitioner deck. Judging by the Cursed Scroll, it almost definitely is. So looking for removal in round 1 to make sure we can get rid of those engines. Payday's good to keep a hold of. Furco's good Vendor is quite nice. Gord can go. Cleaver's good for pushing points. Ring of Favour's going to be really useful in this matchup. I don't think Townsfolk is entirely necessary here. Can probably drop that. I'm a big fan of the Bruiser here, Brawler. Ooh, Jan.
I forgive you. This time.
Very strange. In that case, I'm going to open out with the Brawler. It's quite a passive play. And we're thinning with Knickers too. Okay, taking out the Intimidate engine early isn't super terrible. Respectable play. I don't have access to my tunnel drill, but I think if I want to be able to actually do stuff in this round, I might need to play Cleaver. However, I don't want to play Cleaver quite yet. So I'm going to instead opt for probably Morale on Jan.
Death can come where blood there's none.
I'm not so sure if it's a practitioner now, considering the Jan and the Knickers. Perhaps they just like Imposter.
I divined this move from a sparrow's innards.
Interesting. I guess I continue to play. I can put a Cleaver in the melee row so that when Furko goes down, it gives me the second part of the Intimidate.
You've done it now.
It would be a good pass for them now though, right? There's a possibility that they pass here, and I'm not a big fan of that. Okay.
Let us see.
What a weird one. What a weird one. I don't even know what I'm up against here.
Huh?
I haven't seen Imperial Diviner in a long time, and Cantarella isn't normally in these kinds of decks. I wasn't paying attention to if it was the card that they got off of Cursed Scroll, but it might have been. I mean, I don't need to push points here, right? I've got the ring, so I can just put down the Payday, get the boost on the Cleaver that puts me ahead, and hope that I get one more turn to play ring. This is such a weird game. I don't even know what to do. Okay, Disciple comes down.
Renounce sin.
I mean, I'm still ahead, but I think I can force this here. I threaten to stay in round with the poison on Jan, and if I do end up staying, I can use Shady Vendor to complete it with Fist Tech potentially, or I can just grab Fist Tech with Furko even.
I need not spill blood to make you suffer like never before.
They're still behind, and I'm 2 cards up on them now, so I just pass here. Okay. Then they have to play down to 3, and it's potentially either pass on a card down or pass on 2 cards down with a round win. But getting Lydia out here just to make up the, what was it, like 4 points difference is really nice. I don't need 2 Eventide Plunders, I can get rid of 1. And I think I can mulligan Novigradian Justice because I have Furco in hand. And it's better to fetch it to get that Crown Splitter tag anyway. I just throw Nero here for whatever card in my deck is the least valuable at the moment, which is probably the Fistech Trafficker. So I'll get that out now.
Nose, mouth, any hole will do.
But going into round 3, 10 cards to 9 is quite nice, even if their cards are slightly better from Yarn. As long as I find my Tunnel Drill, I have a good removal package. So once again, Eventide Plunder number 2 can go. Having 2 copies of Fistech here is a lot better. I think having the 1 would have been a mulligan, even if I can get a second off Shady Vendor, but having the 2 here, especially because they profit, Townsfolk gets 2 points off of them as well. It's actually quite worth. I do have a lot of good golds in deck, so I am going to mulligan the Bare Knuckle Brawler, though. Okay, Bank here is quite nice.
What do you think?
Just going to get the
It
Townsfolk
matches
out
your
first, so that I have boost every time I gain coins. This can see like up to 20 coin, I say 20 coin, 20 point ceilings, which is really, really good.
The Vormorlahans detest intrusion.
Here's where we can use Kurt to purify that potentially. Although there's just the chance that they lock it again. And I'd rather save the purify for my Tunnel Drill when that comes down. Because I do want to get Tunnel Drill down. I think I'm going to get my Candle out. And then see where I can go from there. Candle's a really nice piece to have in play to protect engines from potential damage, like we've seen Assassination. And we've also seen Imperial Diplomacy, which can find cards like Payday or Bloody Good Friends, Fun, Bloody Good Fun, or Dip in the Pontar, other removal pieces like that. Heatwave on Candle there is actually quite nice as well. I'm honestly not particularly opposed to them using a Heatwave like that. Plus, that's a Heatwave that they would have got from Yarn as well, so that's one of their big cards that they've drawn out the way. Regardless of what happens here, I think Furco always fetches the Novigradian Justice. So I'm gonna get that down now. It was good to mulligan the Bare Knuckle Roller as well, to get it off of the Justice. I wasn't even thinking of that at the time, so I definitely can't take credit for the move, but it was the right one to do. I'm making sure not to stack my row. It's a habit I'm just trying to get into, because there's a lot of row punish at the moment. That's really nice to see the muzzle on. I'm glad that it didn't go on the drill. Because now we can get the drill down. That's not a drill. Oh my god. Misplay of the century, question mark. I can still find drill. It's not terrible. That was just really, really bad of me. Put my brain into autopilot.
I know the truth. I simply want you to admit it.
When our tower does come down, which is what I assume is going to happen at some point, but what is there even to worry about? Because this relies on coins, and I don't think they'll be stealing many. I'm just going to get Tunnel Drill out. They've used all of their locks, I imagine, so I think I'm safe to purify on the Townsfolk. I always have Spender on Plunderer anyway. Although I should have put that out of range with lined pockets. That's a misplay on my part. Grab the tunnel drill. There's the concede. GG.
And we are doing another giveaway for a subscription to the Bandit YouTube channel. The winner is... Ooh, exciting! Woo-hoo-hoo! The winner is... It's you! Woo-hoo-hoo! So activate that subscription right now down below. Congrats!